Have you ever felt like you need some sort of secret handshake to get your Z-Wave devices to pair correctly? Kind of like those ones when you were a kid between you and your friends, when you thought it was totally a secret between the both of you, but your mom and everyone else already knew about it. Pairing Z-Wave devices can sometimes be tricky if the timing's not right or if something's not pressed at the right moment or in the right way. Z-Wave SmartStart is a completely different method for adding devices to your controller. And I'm going to show you how to use it to add a Z-Wave device to your controller using Z-Wave UI. So think of SmartStart like pre-configuring devices on your hub. Instead of the usual pairing process where someone triple taps a button and makes sure the controller's in pairing mode to make sure that the two devices connect, SmartStart is pre-configuring that device to automatically connect to your hub. This is more user-friendly than trying to time button presses or click other things at the right moment. So to get started, your device has to support SmartStart. Your controller also needs to support Z-Wave SmartStart and S2. Most devices that support SmartStart have a QR code on the device or in the box of the user manual or somewhere that has the specific connection information that your controller will use. So I'm here in my Z-Wave UI instance in Home Assistant. As you can see, I have the Zeus 800 series long-range USB controller right here. And we're going to pair another switch that I recently installed in my bathroom. So first we're going to go up to the SmartStart entry and we'll click that menu item there. Right now it's currently empty. Now there's a few ways to configure SmartStart for your device. Go down here to the hamburger icon and you can click on the scan button. Click on that one. It will give you three options here. You can either scan it with your camera, import a picture, or enter a text string. The camera scanning option generally only works using this on your phone and if you have HTTPS enabled on your Home Assistant instance. So if that works for you, then great. You can go and use your camera to take a picture of the QR code on the device or the user manual. Another option is to click the import option. You can take a picture, just a regular picture of the QR code. And if the QR code is large enough in the image, Z-Wave UI will be able to extract that QR code from the picture and get all the information it needs. Just make sure the QR code is big enough for Z-Wave UI to recognize it. And then finally, if you can't do either of those things or your device doesn't have a QR code, you can use your QR code scanning app on your phone and scan the Z-Wave QR code that's on the device, and it'll give you a big long character string. You can just add that here manually. So I'm going to import a picture of my new switch, as that one is the easiest way for me. The first thing you need to do after adding that device is to make sure this active switch is toggled off. We need to configure a few things first, so we don't want the device to try to add itself until we've fully configured everything the way we need it to. So make sure this is toggled off. It will automatically populate a bunch of information from that QR code. It's pretty incredible, quite honestly, what they store in that QR code. You can see the protocol. This is where you can switch from regular Z-Wave to Z-Wave long range if your device supports it. It will show the different security methods. Like I mentioned before, SmartStart only supports S2. So one of these three boxes will be checked, and then it'll show the manufacturer name and the product name and the description and so on. One thing we need to do is edit the name. If you notice, the name over here is empty, so we need to add that. So just go over to the edit menu. This is where you will type in the name of the device, and this name flows into Home Assistant. So make sure it represents what you're adding. So in this case, this is a guest bathroom light switch. So we'll just say guest bathroom lights. This location, it's kind of like adding the device manually. This stays in Z-Wave JS, but doesn't flow into Home Assistant, so I usually leave this blank. The DSK, or the device-specific key, is a big long group of numbers, and it uniquely identifies your device. This is effectively a secret key or like a password. Treat it like a password. It's not something that you want to share. So I've blocked it out here. So make sure you don't show the DSK to anyone. This is where you can change the protocol again. This does the same thing as the button up front. I always enable it for devices that have Z-Wave long range. If I'm paying for that functionality, I should use it. So I always enable it when I can. And once you're done adding the name and choosing the protocol, click update. You have to notice the name is now over here, and all of these others should be configured based on your device. So now we can click the active button. And for some of my devices, I've seen it take a minute or two. And so after a few minutes, it will automatically connect itself. And as you can see, it automatically added itself with the S2 security. So you can go ahead and close that box. And if we go back over here to our main control panel and we search for guest bathroom lights, there it is. We didn't have to enable inclusion mode on the controller. We set the configuration and the device and the controller communicate automatically without us doing anything. And just like regular devices, we can see that the different information up here. One thing I do want to point out is that this is where you can see a device being added with Z-Wave long range on your control panel. There's this little icon right here. We can see Z-Wave long range. Now I have this other motion sensor up here, and that's paired with the regular Z-Wave protocol, which is the blue icon there, and the Z-Wave long range is the purple one. Z-Wave long range is only supported when you add with Z-Wave SmartStart. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide what to buy. Now, one thing we can do real quick is we can check to make sure that it works. So when I go over to the switch and I press the top button, the switch turns on. And then when I press the bottom button, of course, the switch turns off and we can see the values change there. So that means we know it's paired with our controller. And if you follow my previous guide on how to set up your Z-Wave controller with Home Assistant, it will automatically add this device to our Home Assistant instance. So I'm over here under Developer Tools and I go to States, and we can just search for guest bathroom lights. And we can see a bunch of different options. The important one's down here under the switch. And so we press this on, the lights will turn on. And when we press it off, the lights will turn off. So back over here in the provisioning entries menu, there's a few more options of the hamburger menu. You can back up and restore your provisioning entries information. So you can go over here to the hamburger icon, you can click export, and it'll export a JSON file that has all of the provisioning information. Again, make sure that this file is treated carefully because it does have the device specific key, which is kind of like a password. So make sure that if you're going to back this up somewhere that you encrypt it. And then of course, to show that the import works, we can actually just delete this provisioning entry. It won't exclude the node from your network. It'll just delete the auto configuration if it were ever factory reset. So we can go ahead and click yes for this, and it gives you a warning about that too. So click yes, and we can go back to the hamburger icon, click on import, double click it to import, and then it'll import all of your devices right here, just as they were before. If you do have to import that, you'll then need to enable the active toggle right there in order for that device to be repaired if necessary. Excluding a device when adding it with SmartStart is exactly the same like you would before. That method hasn't changed. That you'll go over to your controller and you'll go to manage nodes and then inclusion. And then you'll click next, and then you'll have to do the triple tap dance in order for your device to be excluded. But you won't be able to do any of this unless you've already chosen the right controller for your network. And that's where the Zeus ZST39 comes into play. I think it's the best Z-Wave 800 series controller on the market today. This video goes through the initial setup and configuration of that device. So if you're not sure whether USB or GPIO might be for you, I have a video that compares USB controllers versus GPIO controllers to help you decide which one is the better option for you. I'll leave links to both of those in the description and on the screen, so go ahead and click or tap one of those, and I'll see you over there.